So I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina. It's where I grew up. My mom and my brother and I, single mother household. So grandparents took care of my brother and I a lot. And I mean, we were just outside all the time. We're really close when we were young, kind of gone different directions in our older age, but we're still close. And I love Charleston. I remember back in the day, we could play in the road on a holiday and there'd be no cars going. And then nowadays, Charleston's a whole different animal. So it's good change, but it's just, if you grew up there, it's totally different. And I think a lot of guys in my time joined the military during that time period because of 9/11. I remember sitting in class in high school, sophomore year, and homeroom, and all of a sudden TVs came on. Pretty much the whole day stopped. Towers had been hit. When we turned on, the second one had already been hit. And originally at that point it was college. I was still thinking we're going to college. And then 2003, right when I was graduating, I'd already had planned on, hey, college, then military. And the invasion of Iraq was going on. So withdrew, just gave up on the college side and went straight enlisted because I think most of us thought it'd be like the Gulf War and it'd be over in 100 hours or whatever it was. And I just wanted to do my part. So I joined up. So I started off just enlisting as an infantryman. Mom hated it. Like I said, I signed up at 17. So my mom actually had a sign for me to go. And I remember she made me sit down with her and the recruiter and go through every single job I qualified for before she would sign, since I wanted to go into infantry. Why I went infantry, I don't know. Like I said, I just felt that there was a war going on and I needed to serve my country, and just something told me to do that. So I went in as a 0311, which is a rifleman. After School of Infantry, I got sent on to Security Forces School, voluntold by the Marine Corps to do that. Became a Security Forces Marine, and then at that point, I did one deployment, and then I tried out for recon. Became a reconnaissance Marine and served the rest of my time as a recon Marine, having to go through the screening process. I actually did it 5 days after coming back from my first deployment. Went on to BRC, or Basic Reconnaissance Course, which is about 3 months long, and probably the closest thing most people would know would be BUDS. Talking about SEAL training. It is different, but it's the closest thing to that for the Marine Corps, and that's what I did. I really only keep touch with one guy from my first unit, maybe two, but recon I keep in touch with my whole team. Two of the guys are no longer with us. One of my best friend was Jonathan Simpson. He was my closest friend in the Marines. In my recon unit, in my actual team, he was killed by a sniper in Iraq in 2006. So I actually really was trying to stay in. I wanted to do the MESAP program, and for those that don't know what the MESAP program is, it's going from enlisted to officer. They send you to college and you are still in the military. Graduate college, you get your commission. Basically, the Marine Corps told me that they wouldn't tell me what my application status was if I got accepted to the program or not unless I re-enlisted. So I just said, you know what? I got the GI Bill. I'm going back to college on my own. I'll come back in after I'm done with college. I'll just go to OCS and become an officer that route and go back in. So that was the plan getting out. Started college. I got recruited by a contracting company to go be a diplomatic security overseas after my freshman year. My buddy Steve was doing it. He helped with that recruiting process. They were looking for some guys, and he said, you got to talk to this guy. He's thinking about going back in. I was actually going to just give up on college and re-enlist. I think a lot of veterans that get out, especially enlisted and go to college, feel that way at the beginning. It's a whole new world. That transition's pretty difficult for most of us, if not all of us. And so I was like, I'm going back in. Screw it. I'm done going back in the military. He was like, you can go to school online. It's a lot better pay than the military. And it's in service of the country still. So I checked that out, went that route for a few years. Eventually finished my degree, and had an injury along the way while I was doing that, and kind of prohibited me from getting back into the military. I think a lot of veterans and people in general, the hardest thing to get people to understand is there's usually an incident that is like the straw that broke the camel's back. And we think that one incident is what caused the issue. For me, I was at the time working for State Department. We were training, and I literally stepped in a hole, and I just felt something go in my back. But if you couple back, you rewind my tape, and you look back from even when I played sports in high school, And then I was also doing extreme sports at the time, was BMX riding. All those falls I took. Then you join the Marine Corps. Then you go to reconnaissance, and the amount of stress we put on that body on a regular basis, just wear and tear. All of that, even though I felt fine, was wearing my body. That's something I didn't realize at the time. And, I'm sure everybody's heard the statement, pain is weakness leaving the body, from the Marine Corps. And no, it's not. That's something else I'd tell somebody thinking about joining the Marine Corps. It's gonna be a lot of pain. But I digress on that, but back to, so you're working through it, and all of a sudden, like I said, I'm training. We've got our gear on. We're just doing some movements from, like, if a vehicle was hit, getting the principal out into a hard cover somewhere. We're going through this field, the way it was cut, you couldn't tell there was a hole, and I just hit it. Kept going, my back felt weird, but I kept going. And as soon as we were done training and I stopped moving, it locked up. Pain started shooting down both legs. Of all the pain I experienced up until that point, I never had experienced something like that. They thought I actually fractured my back, because even though we were over in Baghdad at the time, X-ray imagery wasn't that great. They took an image. They said, you fractured your spine. We've got to get you back home. They sent me on a plane back home. They got us home, took better X-rays. It's not fractured. We're getting you MRI. MRI, you pinched the nerve in your back. Doctor said it would actually have been better to fracture your back the way yours was. They thought you had fractured it because you would have healed faster and got back into it. My orthopedic surgeon said, hey, well, I agree. I don't think you should have surgery. Why don't you try chiropractic or acupuncture for pain management? First time I'd heard the word chiropractic. Literally, I don't remember ever thinking about it ever in my life before that. I looked at the two online and said, one guy cracks your back, one guy sticks needles in you. I'm going to try the guy that cracks your back. Doctor said he thinks it would help, told me I got to go see. I didn't go to that doctor because I was already living up in Greenville. That chiropractor was down in Charleston. So I started seeing somebody up here, and it took about 6 months. But after 3 years, 6 months seemed like nothing. I actually got out of bed, no pain in my legs for the first time. Pain wasn't gone, but no pain in my legs. And if you've been in pain, if you know what that feeling is, and having that life sucked out of you every day for the last 3 years, I was like, what the heck? And, the doctor was honest and said, it's going to take time. This is not just you've been injured for years. This is a process. And he goes, honestly, that injuries, that stress started long before you even got hurt. That straw that broke the camel's back, or my back in that case. I just continued. And then I said I wanted to get into healthcare. So I went back to school to get prereqs for med school. Still didn't ever ask how you became a chiropractor. And the day I took the MCAT, like I said, I took my MCAT. I had already finished all my prereqs. Was submitting my applications in med school. He said, hey, I think you'd be a great chiropractor. Have you ever thought about going to chiropractic school? And I'm like, wait, at this point, it had been about 2.5, 3 years of being under his care. You don't go to med school? Like, there's a separate school for chiropractic? And he's like, he goes, whatever you want to do, check it out. Went and checked out Sherman College, and I had actually called 2 other colleges, Life University in Atlanta, Georgia, and then Palmer. Came up here because it was one of 18 right here in the Southeast, right in South Carolina, right up this road from the town I'm living in. So I was like, well, it's there, let's just go check it out. Went and did a tour, talked to a lot of doctors, went back home. I actually didn't pull the trigger then. I actually was, one of the doctors I was shadowing at the time, who had been in practice for a long time, was still having on-call. And I was like, you still do on-call? And he's like, yeah, it's only 1 weekend a month, but I still got to do it. And I'm like, you've been in practice for well over 20 years. I think he was at 40-something years, 20 years at this one hospital. And I went home, told my wife, I was like, I don't want that lifestyle. I did it in the Marines. And then with State Department, 8 years of my life, I was pretty much gone. And I said, I'm going to chiropractic school. Called med schools, withdrew my applications, said, don't even worry about telling me what's up because I don't want to know the results. It'd be better not to. And I went into chiropractic school. So newly graduated chiropractor in 2019. It's a long road, but I got there. And I now have my own practice in the west end of Greenville. So downtown Greenville, over by the Drive Stadium. Most people know that. It's called Highlands Chiropractic. We're at 413 Bardry Street, Suite 6B. The approach at our office, like I said, is specific care to give each patient exactly what they need. There's no cookie cutter program at our office. It's exactly to get you better. We find the exact issues through our exams. We make sure that we provide the care that each individual needs, And then we not only align the spine and allow it to get strong and stable again, we also work with functional movement and soft tissue therapies in my office to kind of give you that overall balance. So not only are we trying to stabilize your spine, but we're trying to make you feel better overall and move better so you have less stress on that spine that can cause that pain and discomfort. Man, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I mean that, again, I'm not telling you it's ever gonna be easy. Everybody has their own unique challenges and they can be overcome. One of the things like I said, I'll tell most people is just don't be afraid to ask for help. Upstate Warrior Solution, if you're a veteran and you're not talking with them and seeing what can be done, what can be had, even if you're not having an issue, Upstate Warrior Solution can either get you in touch with other people that you might impact their life, other ways of just bringing the community of veterans in the Upstate together that I have found super helpful and a great way to make connections that I don't think otherwise I would have. And maybe I would feel, like I said, between Upstate Warrior Solution, Student Veteran Association at Clemson University, it kept me tied into the military so I didn't feel so lost and alone along the way. I mean, just don't give up. You did it during your time in service. Just don't let that switch go off. Don't let that light, that flame go out.